Okay, Shannon, thank you so much for coming today to share your book writing experience with me.
It's a joy, Mary. Thank you for inviting me.
You're so welcome.
So there's two big pieces that I really want to share. The first one, my first biggest fear, when you shared with me that it has an AI process, my first fear was, oh, I don't want AI writing my book. I really want this to be me, my voice, my rhythm, that people can tell how I speak and tell stories. And that was exactly the case. AI was not involved in my stories, in my sharing, or anything else. They simply captured what I had, and it eased my fears in a way that I was like, oh, okay, I can do this. And the other big piece for me was, I had this book and been using this material in my head. And whenever I would go to sit down and chapter one, and actually write and type, um, my editor would just get in the way and it would just be like pulling teeth and I'd just get so frustrated. And your portal was absolutely beautifully made so that I was answering my own questions and having a conversation and verbalizing all in my words, all how I would structure things. And so the process was just simple and easeful. And then once all of it got out of my head, you do the editing way down the line. And that to me, well, it's magic. It allowed me for years. I've tried to get this out of my head, and you've gotten out of my head in short time. And I'm
I love
super
it.
excited.
I love it. I totally loved all of your messages that you shared as you were going through it and the excitement. And I was like, this is so cool. So cool. I could just see you coming alive. The energy that you had
Yes.
was, I think that's a huge part of it. If you can get that energy flowing when you're
Oh,
unpacking
100%.
your own book, because now
Yeah.
you're excited about it and you're like, it's like us having a conversation over wine. It's like, the first half hour is going to be very stiff, and the more wine that flows, that the better the conversation is going to get. And I think it's like that and I know even so, I've written three books now, and I sat down to write even this tiny book that I've shared with you. It's like a
Mm.
20-minute book. When I sat down to write that, my editor was still getting in the way, and I'm like, oh my God, it's like this happens every single time. It's sitting at that start line
Yeah.
and thinking, right, okay, there's a certain way to do this. There's a way I need to sound when I'm writing a book. And like for somebody like you who's been out teaching it for God knows how long, to sit down and capture it in book form, it's a completely different thing than being in the room and just having it all coming so naturally to you. So I'm so glad that it worked that way for you because I was trying to unpack it layer by layer as I was building it.
Oh, and it works so well. I want to say one other thing to anyone who's listening to this, because I've spoken to multiple other people who have used your process. I've referred a bunch of people who have used your process. And without a doubt, we've all experienced these moments where you're getting it out and you think, "Oh, I think this is just shite. No one's going to read it. Why am I even doing this?" And it is a absolutely universal phenomenon. The most famous authors talk about this. And you just have to get over yourself and really understand that you have something to share. And it's really important that it is out in the world. And just to get over that hurdle and laugh at yourself and remind yourself, oh, yeah, that's part of the process. At moments, I'm gonna think this is total sheet. And yep, it's not. Keep going. Keep answering the questions. Keep going. So,
And
yeah,
that's the bit I feel like as well that you're allowed for it to be a total shite when you're writing it. Because the person who reads the book at the end is never going to know about that. So it's like this
true.
private bubble where all of this ooh can just come out and you don't have to worry about it because nobody's going to know about that.
There you go. Yes, that's true. That is all in private.
Yeah, that's all in private, and that piece really matters because that I think that helps you get out of your own way.
Oh, 100%. Yes.
Mm, I love it, Shannon. Thank you so much for sharing that. And Shannon,
Yeah,
you're nearly ready to launch your book now, aren't you?
I am. Yes.
How close? No
Yeah, I
pressure. You're not answering me. How close, Shannon?
so I talked to Nikki, and of course she loved your son's process and working with you. And because I was the one that said, "Why, like, are you working with Mary?" And
Mm,
what's your son's name? He has such a Pluto.
Pluto. Yeah.
Oh my God. I love his name. That's a whole nother story of like how you guys named your kid Pluto. Um, but um, right now, as you know, there's like 3 weeks, I think, until we take Riley off to school. So I am kind of keeping everything tempered. I'm trying to
Mm,
get one writing day or half day in a week, which isn't much.
mm,
But that's kind of the goal so that I can kind of see him off to school. And
mm,
then, of course, my time will really open up. So I'm really hoping to get it to you way before the end of the year.
mm,
So one thing that I have done is, and I know you probably don't remember this, but my opening story, I decided wasn't juicy enough. So I changed the opening story to be about arriving in as the first in officer on an arson fire with somebody known, the person who set the fire was trapped in the house.
right.
And that is the opening story for the book. It's pretty intense.
Mm,
They did not make it out alive. And so that kind of sets the intensity tone. And
mm,
then I go into, what I actually did in terms of the pause and how I learned to do that momentary braking system and the Portia story. So the Portia
mm.
story doesn't lead. This, pretty intense fire story that I hadn't previously shared opens the book.
Wow.
So, and Claude gave me that idea. He's like, this is a really solid story, but it doesn't really fit the kind of intensity of some of the other stories in the book. I think you should lead with a more intense story. So I was like,
Mm,
okay, I think that's a good critique. So I took
wow.
a couple of weeks to think about what story I wanted to share. Um, Yeah, and then I added another story as well about actually the testing process to get into the fire service, about which voice you listen to, your inner critic or your inner encourager, because that
Mm,
really uh, is also a piece of, snuggling up with discomfort, which is one of the chapters that I had. So, and there's a really great story of um, I had to do a standing 85-pound bicep curl in order to pass my physical test. And so and when I heard about that, being more than half my body weight, I was like, there's a reason why they have that. It's to keep women out. That's the reason why it was created.
right.
So, my critic was like, you're never going to be able to do that. It's like impossible. It's meant to be impossible. You're never going to pass it. And if you
Mm,
pass it, it's going to take you 3 years to get there. Like, do you want to do this 3 years from now? All that kind of stuff. Yes, and I passed it the first time.
wow.
And I got fired.
Amazing.
So yeah, it's all sorts of fun stuff that I had left out. So I'm getting more detail and more of the juicy story. And
I love that. I love that you've taken that pause and now it's like it's going to bring out even more intense stories.
yeah, because the structure's already there.
Yeah.
And as I was editing, I was like, yeah, Claude's mentioned it. He goes, yeah, the first story's good, but it's not gripping. It's not intense. It's like, yeah,
Mm,
you're right. It's not. So
mm.
let's
That
make
was a
it
great
intense.
challenge.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I love opening all of my chapters with a really good story. It's like
Mm.
that's the piece that I think will make my book distinct.
Yeah, yeah. I think so. I think so. And it brings a piece of you into the book as well, where the reader can connect directly with you and how you think and how you show
For
up in the
sure.
world. I think that's so important.
For sure. And I was
Mm,
thinking, I mean, I really want to do an audio of the book, but one of the things I was thinking is to actually put the stories to do a little code, QR code, so that they could actually see a video of me sharing the story. And
yeah.
obviously, it won't be exactly as it's written, 'cause that's not how I would tell a story. But they would really get me um, sharing the story. And I don't know if like that's enough or maybe on the QR code, I could ask questions like, why did you need to hear that story today? What about this story is, that kind of stuff, and ask a couple of key reflective questions after each story. Because
Mm,
obviously I go on in the book to talk about that, but sometimes, people learn differently. And if they can see a video of me, I think of, um, live, um, I'm always more kind of intense. It's like, it was very
mm,
sweet. Michael was like, "Oh my God, you have tension in your stories on Zoom." And I like, "Oh
yeah.
yeah, my stories are intense."
Yeah. I
So
love that idea because I know you want to use this book for speaking.
I do.
So it will give people who book speaking gigs a taste of what you're actually like in person
Oh,
and
yeah,
how you
100%.
show up and what your energy is like. So I love that idea for your book.
Okay. Yeah. Makes sense, right? It's an easy carry through. Even
Yeah,
though I'm just, speaking to camera one on one, it's a very easy way of seeing, what I'm like.
absolutely. And I think like even at the end of each chapter, and your QR codes can be tiny, like they don't have to be big in your face things. And the relevant people, when they see the first one, they'll be like, even if they haven't got time to read the whole book, they might go, "Oh, hang on, what are the other ones? What's in all the other videos?" So they might. I think it's a great way to engage with your book as well. So it's like there can be different ways. One person might sit down and read the whole thing. Another person might go straight for the videos. Another
Yeah.
person might be reading your stories and go, "I love how she tells stories." So I love that there's different ways for people to interact with it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think about that. Yeah, that's a great point. I like that. Because
Mm.
as you know, people's attention is so short.
Yeah,
So, if they see a video and that's what they like, they might just do the QR codes for each chapter. Perfect.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And for like, it's a great way for people to kind of hit on the things. Because I know somebody in our community who does, she's got a podcast, and she said every single month she reads a whole book written by a person she has on her podcast. She said it takes a whole day of her time
Mm.
just to see what this person is all about. Whereas
Yeah.
if you could give people that thing, that point of interest, and they've got five of those, or seven or eight of those, depending how many chapters you've got, like that's giving them the juice without the squeeze. It's like that is
Yeah. Yeah.
magical.
Yeah. Cool. Cool. Okay. I'm
Mm.
excited now to do that. Yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, that's my timeline. That's my goal. And I get excited every day in my writing day. I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting close. This is getting juicier. This is getting better. And then I think, oh, damn it, but I really don't have any more time this week to do that. And so I'm trying not to beat myself up and that, you know what? I'm never going to have this summer back.
Yeah.
So I want to lean into this summer. Um, and, we have lots of travel planned in the fall. And, I love to write in the morning. So no matter where I am, I can get up and punch out
Mm.
some fun writing time. So
I can see me having to wrestle this book out of your hands because you're loving it too much. Like, Shannon, let it go. It's done. Shannon, thank you so much. I really appreciate you and your book. By the end of the year, tell us again, have you decided on the title?
yes, I think I'm pretty good with this one. Walk slowly toward the fire, a
Mhm.
firefighter's code for leading when everything is burning.
I love it. I have a space reserved for it. Shannon, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Mary.